Welcome to the show. It is Thursday at 7 p.m. I am Ty with the Triple Threat Vet Podcast. You've made it. We appreciate you coming. Let me get down to some business here, some events and announcements we have. The Triple Threat Vet Nonprofit Challenge is over for this year, but don't fret. You can still go to www.sameflagsameoath.com and visit that veteran-owned business, Got Your Six Culture, and buy some cool gear. I want to be sure that we tell everybody about Eric Knowles being at the Punchline here in Houston on January 16th. We're looking forward to that show. Some of us will be there. I want to shout out Becky Joe. Becky Johnson is Matt Johnson's wife, and she's creative as hell. Check out Becky Joe Art. We like to tell stories here. So last week we told Tom Clark's story. Great friend of mine, great guy here in the Texas barbecue world. But before I turn it over to Al for the rant here, I want to say this week we have another outstanding American that served with me actually in 2010 with the 2nd Engineer Battalion. JACKLYN Morton. We'll get to her, but before we do that, let's see what Al Hero's got going on.
So not a whole lot, but I do want to talk about a little bit today. I'm speaking to the actual grown folks. If you're under the age of 30, this isn't for you. You're not grown. Like until you hit 30 years old, your ass ain't grown. You still wet behind the ears. Your breath still smells like breast milk and Similac and all that shit. You ain't grown yet. So to my 30-year-olds out here, I don't know how many times we got to tell you people, don't ever trust a fart. Don't do it. It's bad for business. And let me tell you a quick story. So we went home to visit family for the holidays. And my brother-in-law, and I'm going to name drop him because he needs to be name dropped for this incident that transpired on my couch. This dude's grown as fuck. Grown. He's in his 40s. Sitting on my couch, jumped up, ran to the bathroom, comes back out. He's staring at me, worried. Like he looks distraught. I'm like, what's up, bro? He's like, I got bad news. I'm like, what's up? This motherfucker shit on my couch. And I don't mean like just in his pants. I mean like shit on my sofa, like straight up doo-doo on the sofa. So if you're over the age of 30 years old, if you feel the urge to let one rip, go to the bathroom. You're grown now. You can't ever trust it. You can't trust it. Don't trust it. But Bo Cluck is his name. If he's at your house, if one of you ladies happen to meet him and you take him home to your house, put a puppy pad down, put him in a diaper. I don't know what you need to do, but don't let this motherfucker sit on your couch. And when he comes to my house, he's got to sit on plastic from this day forward. But it was very traumatizing to me and my wife. Bo Cluck, that's his name. It's actually spelled B-E-A-U. Bo Cluck. Lives in Wee Hitcher, Florida. I'll put his address in the chat. Put his phone number. You can give him some shit. But he definitely deserves the what's it called? The donkey of the day. This motherfucker is grown as fucking shit on my couch like a little kid. I should have rubbed his motherfucking nose in it and spanked it with a newspaper, but my wife wouldn't let me do it. So that's my rant for today. Don't trust a fart. If you're over the age of 30, just go to the bathroom so you don't shit on people's furniture. That's just disgusting.
Well, that's an outstanding way to get started today, man.
I just want to be real.
That's how your day's been, but it can't be going great.
No, it was a great holiday at first. And then like this dude like just stood there and was like, I shit on your couch. I'm like, excuse me? Like I thought he was kidding. I was like, okay, bro, sit down.
Was there alcohol involved? Did I miss that part of the story?
No, bro, we drank a little bit, but we weren't like faded. We were literally watching TV and he jumps up and runs to the bathroom. I'm like, what the fuck is your brother doing? My wife's sitting there and I'm like, okay, maybe and he comes out and then like to make it so bad, he's wearing like basketball shorts. Now, what grown ass man still wears basketball shorts like he's going to like hoop up on somebody? He dresses like Adam Sandler. If that gives you an inkling of how he dresses.
Yeah,
he dresses like.
Unfortunately, me too.
He dresses like Ty, you and him dress like Adam Sandler. But this dude, on the couch, though. So I'm sitting there, bro, and he's like, "Shit on your couch." I'm like, "What'd you say?" And I look over. This motherfucker shit on my couch, bro. And my wife was like, "What did he say?" I'm like, He stood on the couch. She's like, nah, no, he didn't. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, he did. This motherfucker shit on this guy. What did Bob say? You know, don't worry, Bob. I'll send you pictures. I'll ruin your meal. And also, I didn't rant about it, but I do want to touch on, Ty. These people, we'll call you, how do I say it? Bitches, weak bitches. If you went to boot camp and your stories are the worst thing in my career and the scariest thing that I've ever been through was my drill sergeant, if you're still scared of your drill sergeant after doing a long and illustrious career in the military, and that's your worst experience in your military career, you ain't shit. You're soft as baby shit. We call you Pop-Tart because you're hard on the outside but real soft in the middle. Your ass is weak. You're weak as fuck. If you're scared of your drill sergeants to this day and having nightmares, get some real fucking problems, okay? Do some real shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's I still remember my drill sergeants, but I was never scared of my drill sergeants after, I don't know, first deployment or everything.
I was about to say, after my first deployment, I had a whole laundry list of problems I had to deal with. And the last thing I was worried about was my RDC in boot camp yelling at me and making me shave twice a day because my facial hair grows so fast. I was like, that's the worst of my fucking problems.
That's because you're a real man.
There are people out there who still are like, oh, my drill sergeant, I'm terrified. Like, they really ruined it. Like, who the fuck? Stop playing. Soft as baby shit, bro.
Yeah, faux show.
So as everybody watching or will watch later notices, Matt Johnson is not with us. So I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to say we miss you, Matt. We wish you were here, but fuck you for not showing up. He's moving his kid. His kid's got to go to college. He's doing some family stuff. Fuck that, bro. Your family didn't come in your sea bag. You never heard that vernacular? They didn't come in your sea bag. They weren't issued by the U.S. government. They're not important. So fuck your kids. Fuck your family. You should be on this show tonight.
Hey, I don't think that we've ever gotten 3 rants from Al Hero. Let's hear it.
My bad. It's been a rough holiday season.
Well, I mean, and you weren't on the show there for a couple weeks. What the fuck were you doing when you didn't make it to the show?
It doesn't matter what I was doing. It doesn't matter. I was doing it.
No. You were doing some good stuff. I want to hear you talk and talk shit on here, but let's talk about some of the good stuff you're doing.
Hey, it was all family stuff. I had family in town. I was traveling. But I'm different than Matt. Matt's weak. Matt's soft. Matt's one of those guys who's probably still scared of his drill instructor. Like, to this day, he fucking soft sobs into his pillow at night. Like, he's probably still. No, Bob, we really don't go too political on this show, so we're not going to really get into a whole lot of politics and stuff like that. But I will say this: this is not a representation of this podcast. It's just Al Hero. I stand with the police department. I back the blue. I think if you're out there serving and defending your communities and you're doing it the right way, my hat's off to you. God bless you. Be safe. Watch your 6, but for sure, I personally stand with our law enforcement and our first responders, and I think they do an outstanding job. The 99.999% of them all do an outstanding job, and my hat's off to you, and I hope you guys are safe out there doing what you're supposed to be doing and taking care of the community. And that's not a reflection of this podcast. That's just me saying, I support you. I got your back. Got your 6. Keep doing what you're doing. We do love you. We do pray for you guys and gals out there doing God's work. So,
yeah, absolutely. We do shirts with the Houston Police Officers Union. We've done a lot of events with them. We definitely got to stand with the police. I don't understand a lot of the discourse that's going on, but I know that defunding police is not the answer, and I know that just blaming each other and making every fucking thing political is not the answer either. There's got to be some civil discourse.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of stuff crazy going on in the world today and in the news. I mean, it's been I cut off the news because it's just craziness. But to anybody out there who's like, fuck the police and fuck first responders and fuck the military and fuck this country, I want to say very respectfully and from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. How about that?
Yeah, I knew that was coming. Yeah, I mean, I say if you don't support the country, like I get in trouble, and I'm Jackie. We'll be right with you. I'm not trying to get political, but I go online and I look at a lot of the comments and rants and people raging out against why aren't we speaking about this or speaking about that, and people ask me, well, do you support this current regime or current administration? And my answer, regardless of is if I voted for him or not, which I did not, I still support the hell out of this administration. There's a lot of good things that results I think are happening, and just to have the Democrats blame the Republicans for everything and Republicans blame Democrats for everything has got to stop. There's got to be some actual work done. I mean, work is measurable. Let's start fucking measuring the work. But anyway, I digress. Ready to bring our
let's do it. I may need her help. Like she's a lawyer. I may need to keep her on. I may need to put her on retainer like today.
Exactly. We may need her after this show, right?
We might need to keep her on retainer.
So JACKLYN Morton, she was a lawyer. She is a lawyer. She's still an Army officer. She went to VMI and she likes to lose at Jeopardy. We'll talk about why she likes to lose at Jeopardy later. But just a small little bio from here. Jackie's a transplant from Virginia that moved to Alabama in 2016 to attend law school. She graduated from VMI in 2009 and commissioned as an engineer officer in the United States Army. After nearly 6 years on active duty, Jackie transferred to the United States Army Reserve so she could achieve her dream of going to law school. She graduated from the Cumberland School of Law in 2021, and she is licensed to practice law in Alabama. Jackie uses her extensive military experience to her advantage when representing service members and their family members through divorce and custody cases. Jackie is currently a major in the United States Army Reserve, and she still loves being an Army engineer. In addition to her law practice and military duties, Jackie uses her free time to coach her daughter's softball team, volunteer at her daughter's school, and help make her community better however she can. She was recently appointed to be the Birmingham Chapter President of the VMI Alumni Association. That's cool as hell. And she's committed to uniting and serving her fellow Keydets and veterans in North Alabama. So we'll ask her a bunch of these questions and things. But without further ado, what did I do here? Here we go. Without further ado, let's bring on JACKLYN Morton.
I thought she left. Yeah, I'm going to have to retain you. My family has a long history of needing legal representation. That's my son in the Marine Corps.
Hey, nothing.
He lives in Birmingham. So he lives in Birmingham. We'll have to make sure he knows. Like, hey, we know somebody.
Absolutely. Yeah. So while you guys were doing that intro, I people were like texting me and they were like, "How are you going to follow up that story about his brother-in-law shitting on the couch?"
It was a horrible situation, just so you know.
I was like, I don't know. I don't think I can follow that up. So, I don't know. Can we keep doing the podcast now, or is it over? Or
it's over. We'll see you next week, everybody.
Sorry about it.
But no, we do. We love telling stories on the show, and a lot of the people that we've told the stories of, they're not special operators. They're not Delta Force, although I mean some of them have been. They're not like big, amazing key figures, but they are people that deployed downrange, formed a bond of some sort. It's crazy what you can form bonds over when you're deployed. But this is about a combat engineer officer that I deployed with in 2010. So, Jackie, kind of how we like to get started all the time in the show is we like to know where you grew up. So tell us about growing up and what that was like in your town.
Okay, so I guess I should start with I definitely did not grow up in a town. I grew up in Southside Virginia, or Brunswick County more specifically, which is kind of like an hour directly south of Richmond. It's tobacco country. It's super rural, very country, probably one of the poorest parts of the state of Virginia. I'd say kind of second only to like the southwest corner of the state. So yeah, I grew up out in the country, like with horses and dogs and, running around on a farm and doing country kid stuff, I guess. I guess this kind of gets into being a lawyer, but I don't come from a family of lawyers. So I'm like the first person in my family to go to college. Wow. Well, my stepmom has also gone to college, but first person in my immediate family to go to college and graduate from college, and definitely the first Army officer. as far back as I know. And yeah, so I grew up. I have one sister who's like, I don't know, I won't share her age, but she's quite a bit younger than me, maybe about 6 years. And then I have a little brother who's about 12 years younger than me. So I was the oldest, and yeah, I just kind of grew up going to school, being a little nerd, and playing sports, and I don't know. That's it.
Are your brothers and sisters? I know you're from Virginia, so I assume they're also your cousins somewhere down the line. Like,
You know,
not that part of Virginia. That's West Virginia. Never
no,
mind.
that's
I'm
West
sorry.
Virginia
That's
for
West
sure.
Virginia. My apologies.
That's
Wrong
West Virginia. No, we are not related in that way. Thank goodness. And we all have normal genome series or whatever they call it. So no mixing of the DNA like that.
Oh,
That's
West
what I'm
Virginia.
talking about.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so ma'am, what was it like growing up in your house? Did you have a extended family that would gather for like Christmases and stuff, or you going to school with your cousins? It was obviously a small town, right?
Yeah. So so my parents were divorced when I was young. So I luckily, very luckily, had large, like both of them had multiple siblings. So I have like quite a few cousins on both sides. On my mom's side of the family, I was the only girl. So I had three boy cousins, one that was about the same age as me, and two that were younger than me. So I think that probably molded my toughness, like literally more than anything else. Because when I tell you I will fight a man, like I don't, I just grew up fighting boys, like that's real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I did grow up with quite a big family. We got together on all the big holidays. And yeah, I just enjoyed that a lot. But also I had a very supportive family. It wasn't like that overwhelming, like, oh God, you've got to stay here. So when I went away to college and then decided I was gonna, commission and go active duty and move away, like my family was also extremely supportive of that, and traveled to see me, whenever they could. And now, I live in Alabama. My entire family still lives in Virginia, and I think they're still extremely supportive, and they come down here and visit as much as possible. So,
Did you come from a military family? I know you went into the military and you said they were very supportive. Did you come from a military family background?
I wouldn't call us a military family. My dad was in the National Guard when I was very young. I like still kind of remember that because I lived very close to Fort Pickett, if y'all have ever been there in Virginia. Um, yeah, and my great grandfather on my mom's side, he immigrated to the U.S. from Hungary after World War I, and he served in the U.S. Navy for quite a while. So, yeah, that's kind of.
So with you kind of glossed over, you played sports and everything. What were your interests growing up with the sports you played throughout elementary and high school?
I played softball in high school, and that's probably the sport I was like best at. I wasn't like super good at any of them, but I definitely played softball, and that was the one I enjoyed the most. I played basketball as well. And I really only played basketball because I felt like it kept me in shape. I know that's like vain high school girl stuff. But I was like, you know what? I hate this running, but it's keeping me in shape. I was ready to go for softball. So, yeah, I mean, I played volleyball for a while, but then once I got my driver's license, I was like, I got to get a job. I need gas money. I can't be asking my mom for gas money all the time. So I dropped volleyball, got a job, and played my other sports.
Well, I can definitely speak, Al, to her competitiveness. I remember, when she got to the unit, I think she was a second lieutenant, maybe first lieutenant. I can't remember. You were second lieutenant, right?
Oh, second lieutenant fresh out of
Yeah. So very
fresh.
fresh, but I remember, how kind of serious I am. And
Yeah.
I remember she would make me laugh just because of her accent. And I recognized that. So then we're going to go back to this, but then I remember, I would try to push everyone's buttons just to see how they were. And one of the first things she told me was she went to VMI. So I remember seeing like a 60 Minutes story on just the entry into VMI and how difficult, how much they haze you, and really how prestigious VMI is. We talk a lot about sports with the service schools, but we talked about VMI, and I just, when she told me she went to VMI, I was like, oh, I like her. She's going to be okay. So kind of go back from elementary into high school, and you talked about a little bit of service that you had in your family. What gave you the competitive drive, or the drive altogether, to want to surmount VMI?
Okay, so I think I from a very young age, like literally from I think age 12, I was obsessed with going to the University of Virginia. I need you guys to understand, obsessed with going to UVA. And so I did not get into UVA early decision in my senior year of college, or high school, excuse me. And I mean, that was a heartbreak. Like, I don't even know. I probably cried for a week. I don't know. Like, I might have died and they brought me back to life. Like, it just destroyed me. So when I finally pulled it together, I was like, it's okay. It's literally early decision. Like, it's not like they rejected me. But then I got kind of mad because I was like, oh, you're not going to reject me. And I had a professor or a teacher at my high school, and his grandson was going to VMI. And one day he was like, I think you should really consider VMI. And I was like, no, I'm not going there. I was like, I don't want them to shave my hair, because they were still shaving girls' hair off then. And then, I kind of thought about it some more, and I was like, I cannot wait until like March or April to find out where I'm going to college. I'm not like that. Okay. I'm not chill like that. And I never have been. So yeah, I went to visit VMI, like me, and there was another guy in my high school class who was also interested in going. And we went up there, like just the two of us, two little high schoolers, drove up there and visited VMI, met with the admissions team. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. I literally was like, yeah, I mean, can't be that bad. And I kind of deserve it I should have studied harder and done better on the SATs. Like, I literally looked at it as some kind of like punishment for myself or something for not being good enough to go to UVA. And so then after that, I was like, good, I'll go there. And that's it. And then once they shaved my hair, because they were still like shaving girls' hair then, that was the first day, like on matriculation day, I was like, well, I'm staying here. I'm not going back home looking like a little boy.
Not at least until your hair grows back. I'm staying here for at least a semester.
Exactly. So yeah, that was locked in after that. Like, there was no way I was quitting. I grew up getting whipped. I don't know if we can say that. Or
I got my ass beat.
We got our ass beat. Yeah.
We got our ass beat.
So I was from a go grab a belt household. Okay. So like, I kind of, when I found out they couldn't hit me, or they weren't supposed to, and no one ever did, I was like, no, I'm good. I could deal with yelling. I don't know. There's probably something wrong with me, guys.
Well, you were pretty resilient with being around all the guys that you were around in 2010. So kind of talk about, what was your experience like during those 4 years at VMI?
Oh, yeah. I should say I love VMI, obviously. I love serving the school and my fellow alumni. It was definitely different times then. Women were not accepted, and they weren't accepted is probably a loose term to use for that, until 2001. So it was, I matriculated in 2005, so that's pretty fresh. There was definitely a strong contingent of people who openly hated women being at VMI. But there were also a lot of people who were extremely I see my friend Christina commented, it was a walk in the park. We went to VMI together. It was, the good outweighed the bad, like, to me. And I know that it's not the same. And I've spoken with a lot of women, especially in the last few years, from VMI alumni. I know that many of them harbor and hold on to like some of their experiences were a lot more negative than mine. But for me, think I was just super lucky or super blessed, whatever you believe, to just have fallen in with such an amazing group of friends, or we call them brother rats at VMI, um, that made the bad experiences a little better and kind of made me more confident in being able to see, like, okay, a grown man that is willing to approach a 19 or 20-year-old girl and say, well, you don't belong here. Okay, well, he's a loser. I don't know. That's how
Fuck
I
that.
feel about
Yeah,
it.
fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. So, um, and that's, I definitely wasn't born with that. I kind of developed that by seeing other insanely strong women ahead of me at VMI and in my class at VMI, and thinking like, yeah, that's what I want to be like. I want to be so unbothered by losers. Um, yeah. So, I don't, did that answer the question? I'm sorry, I went off on a
Yeah,
Oh
tangent.
yeah, for sure. No, no. And so, like,
Sorry.
what are some of the highlights with the VMI? Like, I know when you go there, it's a lot like a service academy. They're going to haze the shit out of you. They're definitely preparing you to be a military officer in the future. What was your curriculum? Like, what did you choose to study? And then did you already have an inkling of what service branch you were going to follow?
Yeah, I was going to ask that because you're so smart and intelligent. Why the fuck did you choose the Army of all places?
Oh my God.
You're way
Yeah.
smart. You're way too smart for the Army. There's no way. You should have won the Air Force. I don't know what's going on.
Because my grades were too bad to go in the Air Force. 3-0 and go, baby.
Right.
Okay, so when I went to VMI, I did not plan on commissioning. That was never like in my, I didn't have an Army ROTC scholarship. I didn't have any ROTC scholarship. I was like, I want to go to VMI and then I want to go to law school. So that was really never in the plan, but I started out like my first, you have to take ROTC there. I don't think it's like that now. Now they can take like a leadership lab, but you had to pick an ROTC department and you had to take a lab with them. Okay. So it was like once a week, you had whatever, do stuff. I did Navy the first semester, and I cannot tell you how insanely bored I was. Like, one of our tests was like, they just put pictures of boats or ships, whatever you want to call them. They just put pictures of ships up on
I
the
don't know what
screen.
those are either, so don't feel bad. Like I'd fail that test today. So
Ask him how much ship time he's got.
0.
They were like
0.
They were like, name the ship. I was like, they all look the same.
So you chose. So because of that, you chose the mouth breather class. I get it.
Yes. Okay. So that was my fall semester of my rat year. Second spring semester of my rat year, I was like, I got to get up out of here. I was like, get me into Army ROTC, because I was A-okay running around the woods once a week. So I was like, it was literally just like once a week we had to run around the woods and do like battle drills and stuff. It was mostly so like the juniors or the second classmen before they went off to camp, advanced camp, whatever. We just kind of had to play soldier. And I was like, okay, I could do this. Yeah. And then as I slowly realized, like, okay, well, you're not an idiot. You can figure out this. Like, you've figured out how to do an op order. You figured out how to do all that stuff. It was in my junior year because I studied abroad during my sophomore year. After that, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to commission. Like, I don't want to go straight to law school. A lot of my friends were commissioning, and I want to say it's like a peer pressure situation, but it was like 2007, and the surge in Iraq was happening, and everybody could kind of see, read the tea leaves that the surge in Afghanistan was going to happen. And it just seemed very fun and exciting. And, I guess it's just what you do when that's what you're surrounded by. So, yeah. Oh, and I studied, I majored in international studies and politics. So that's always kind of been my slant. Like, I'm interested in that stuff. I loved studying governments. I love traveling. I love other languages. That's kind of been my thing. I just didn't know that I would apply that in the Army and not apply it directly in law school.
Are we hearing like running for office in your future coming up? Is that what?
Oh God, no. No.
I'd vote for you.
You haven't met me long enough.
Yeah, but all these jack wagons we have in office right now, I'd vote for anybody, right? I'd vote for Ty, and that's a stretch. Oof.
I vote for Ty. You know what? That actually, can I circle back, because I was kind of taking notes during your rant, and I won't
No.
I won't. You kind of complained a little bit, like both of you kind of complained a little bit about how, the politics of it is back and forth and both side kind of blames the other. And I agree with that. And I wanted to note, since we are three veterans here, I do think one of the best skills, I guess you could call it, that I gained through the Army was like the absolute ability to not give a crap about someone's political affiliation. Like, I don't care what you do with your vote. I don't care what you do with your time. I care that you can be a decent
Human being.
soldier, sailor, whatever, human, and do your job. Like, I don't care what color you are. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what gender you are. I care that you can do your job, and that's it. And I think that is one thing truly that makes the military, like service members, and at least, the good ones, and veterans, not better than everyone else, but maybe different from most people.
No, we're better than you.
That.
We know it. But the truth, but you're spot on. I mean, as a veteran in our veteran community, I can look back over my military career, and I couldn't tell you what the buddy to the left or right of me, what their political background was, what their religious background was. We didn't know. We didn't care. We didn't ask. We didn't want to know. At the end of the day, I'm expecting you to have my back, and I'm going to have yours, and we're both going to go home to our families. And that's all that really mattered. And I think it makes you very diverse and the ability to be a chameleon of sorts. Because as a veteran, we can walk into any space or and acclimate very well and find, you mentioned earlier, being able to find the commonality and find that piece as a veteran. We can find that in any group that we're immersed in. I mean, I say it all the time. If the country could operate and act like we do as veterans or as a veteran community, things would be a whole lot better. We would get a lot more accomplished, for sure.
Right. And like, yeah, I guess and it's not even like all military units are perfect.
No, for sure.
You all fight, like, kind of, you could be very dysfunctional, but at the end of the day, you still have like this baseline respect that is even like a deeper than just baseline respect for humanity, which some people, I think, lack completely now. And yeah, I don't know how to, I don't think it's really possible to share that with the masses, because it's just something that's cultivated, through time and experience. And
through shared experience, for sure.
Yeah.
I never served with Ty, but after getting to know him over the years and becoming family with him, I'd serve with him any day of the week and twice on Sunday. At the end of the day, we have shared experiences, and we've been down range during the same time and fought the same battle and chewed the same dirt. So we found common ground, and I wish the world would be able to find common ground and be able to have a conversation and to speak without getting angry and be able to just have that conversation. And me and Ty, we don't agree politically. We don't agree a lot of things, but it doesn't matter. That's my brother, and I've got his back no matter what the fuck he believes in or what he thinks. I don't care. I may say you're stupid, or he may say I'm stupid, but at the end of the day, that's me and him saying we're stupid. If you call him stupid, you might catch an old country ass whooping. That's just how it works.
Exactly.
We are really very far apart, but the one thing that we do know is we have, like you said, the shared experience. Plus, Al and I have sat in my house multiple times and written movies about the fucking experiences we've had. So, I mean, I can describe something. I can describe something in Ramadi or Fallujah, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know that." And it's, at some point, it blurs the line because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly the curve or the Texas barrier, the fucking, skyline that he's looking at. So yeah, it's a bond, man. And if to be as far apart as we are sometimes with, his temper, my temper, he's like he said, he'll knock you out if you say the wrong thing to me. And then I'm more pragmatic, but I wish I had more of his personality sometimes. I wish I had more of Matt's personality sometimes. So yeah, we're just brothers. So And
Awesome.
that's kind of the bond that I talked about with all these people that we brought on. We're on episode 132 now, and probably 110 of these people I probably served with, and you bring them on, and I want to tell you one thing before we get into, you graduating VMI and coming active duty for your first unit. I remember meeting you. I think I said this before we came on. I remember meeting you and just seeing the fire, the spark, the leadership potential that you had, and you weren't scared of anything. And that was impressive. And then I do remember I think we were doing a VTC back to the rear, and we were waiting. And that's, I think, when I found out that you went to VMI. And then from then on, I appreciated your resilience, because as we'll start talking about in a minute, what was it like for you to graduate VMI, be as proud as you are, initially not having plans of commissioning, and then commissioning as an engineer freaking officer?
It was awesome. It was seamless and it was great. No, I'm kidding. It was exciting because, like you said, I mean, I'm not fearless. I have a lot of fears, but maybe I'm that special kind of stupid that like makes me like to do stupid things. No, I don't know. So I was like nervous because, I like to be good at stuff. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be a good officer or whatever. Because I just, you don't know what you don't know. Will say I mean, I think I was just ready to learn. That's just the type of person I am. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll try to do this. I'm like, oh yeah, let's try to do this, or I want to try to do that. And I try to fit in wherever I can. And that's kind of was just exciting to me. Like, it was exciting. Like, I still remember, like, I was supposed to originally go to the 11th Engineer Battalion, and I'm so sorry, this is a tangent. That's where my orders were too. I had those orders to the 11th Engineer Battalion at Fort Benning, like when I commissioned. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through all the training stuff, whatever, and then go there. Okay, well, I was like in class in Bullock at Fort Leonard Wood, and I got a text from my friend Alex Carey, who went to VMI with me, but he was also commissioned as an engineer, and he was a class ahead of me at Bullock. And he was like, hey, your name is on a list of people, like, you're not going to Benning. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, your name is on a list of people. I just saw the email. Like, you guys, your orders are being diverted to go to White Sands Missile Range. And I don't know if you remember this, Ty. There was like a whole pack of like 5 of us, I think, that got diverted to go to White Sands at the same time. We all found out like via, like, Alex sent me a picture of an email, and like we had like flip phones or something then. I don't even know. And I was like, I don't even know where White Sands is. Like, I had to ask.
Middle of nowhere, shithole America. There's nothing there.
Yes. And so it was like, yeah, you're going here and you're deploying right away. And I was like, okay, well, I guess this is great. Like, all of my stuff was in storage. I just shipped everything to a storage unit in Las Cruces and just did it. That's kind of the best way for me, so I don't have to stress and worry about stuff. I mean, I'm just kind of like that, like along for the ride. Or I was more like that now. Now that I have a daughter, I like to plan and have notice and all of that stuff. But back then, I'm like, yeah, I'm 22. What else do I have going on? Let's go to Afghanistan.
So I remember when I found out that I was going to White Sands, I'd come back from a deployment in Iraq for like one of those 15-monthers, and I thought I was going to be teaching like radios to some NASA test center. That's where I thought I was going to be working. And then I get there, and it's the only active duty engineer battalion on post. So that means the entire garrison commander, the green suiters over there, their eyes are on us. The test center will do anything for us for a training area. And we have a budget for prepping for this deployment that I had never seen before, because of the MTO was huge. At first we thought we were going to be taking all the bridge tanks. So talk about what it was like for you to deploy and then fall in on whatever you fell in. I don't want to take your thunder. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. So I got to White Sands. I think I was there for like 2 or 3 weeks or something before we deployed. Like I literally arrived the day that the main body of the battalion left to go to Afghanistan. So I was on Rear D for, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks. However, just one day they were like, "Hey, come in. You guys are leaving in like 5 days." So I was like, "Okay, cool." Um, so when I got there, at first, my first job was to be an LNO at Camp Marmol, to the Sea Jock. And as a second lieutenant and a sea jock, I'm sure you can imagine that was a learning curve because I was like, yeah, I'm learning. And it was a joint and coalition group of people. So
Yeah, and it
lots
wasn't
of
ran
things.
when you got there. It wasn't ran by the Americans. It was ran by
No,
the Germans, right?
yes,
Yes.
correct. So German, yeah, so we had a German, I think like the deputy, like one of the deputy commanders was an American GO, but like I never saw them, I was just day to day doing LNO stuff on the floor. So then finally one day they were like, "Hey, get on the truck, like you gotta come over here today, Dottie, or get in a platoon." And I was like, "Yeah." Oh, I was so excited. And so I was the construction platoon leader in HHC, and I had my little band of savages. No, I'm just kidding. They were great.
Yeah, savages love it.
So I had a great platoon sergeant. We talked about him earlier, Sergeant First Class Farmer, who was just like the oldest of old school, 12 Novembers, who is a horizontal construction engineer. And he was like, "I'm gonna teach you how to be a lieutenant." Like, so, and he did, he was like, "This is your job, dummy." No. Sometimes he would call me that. And he'd be like, "All right, LT, this is what you got to do. This is how you do it. This is my job. This is their job." As NCOs do, like, um, I knew how to do the officer stuff, like read an order, write an order, all that. But the day to day and how to run a platoon, what needs to happen, what squad leaders do, all that stuff, I had so much help doing that. And it really laid the groundwork for the relationship that I tried to cultivate with all of my NCO counterparts as my career progressed in the Army. Because it was just so invaluable. Like I learned so much from Sergeant Farmer and from my squad leaders, Sergeant Fierro, and wait, we had Lazat too, Sergeant Lazat, but he's a warrant officer now. He became a warrant officer a few years after that. So yeah.
Yeah, Fierro was the NCO that I think the statute of limitations run out on this. He's the one that allowed me to drive that grader out there next to the TOC. So I'm out there, a signal guy, EWO, grading for future infrastructure. I felt like a fucking American right then.
Hey, like one day the CBs had like this brand new dozer. I think it was like a D7. I don't think it was a D9. I'm pretty sure it was a D7. So it was like a pretty big dozer, and they had just gotten it. They were like clearing, we were making Day Dottie bigger. And so Fierro was like, "Yeah, let me get out here." He worked it out with them. And then he was like, "Hey, LT, you want to come out here? I'll show you how to do the dozer." I was like, "Oh, buddy, yes, absolutely." Um, so yeah, he let me do that for like 10 minutes, and he was like, "All right, you got to go. You just screwed this up so bad. Like I have to go back over this before the CBs come out here."
I think he told me that too.
I was like, "I tried so hard."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
So no, I was just gonna say. So how many deployments did you actually get to do while you were in active duty, man?
So on active duty, I had 2 deployments, both to Afghanistan. So the first one was to RC North, and the second one was, with the 1st Engineer Battalion to RC East. So it was a little bit more, how did they say, kinetic, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
And
You're
you know
doing
what?
10 and 25K ring route clearance and everything?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know who I ran into? I thought about this earlier, Ty, when I was like thinking about stuff for the show. Do you remember Sergeant Lowe? He was in our S4 shop.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I ran into Lowe in RC East. I was like coming back. I was coming back from somewhere. I don't even know what I was doing. And I like randomly ran into him at Sharana, and I was like, "Hey man, can I get a ride?" I like got stuck at Sharana. And Sergeant Lowe saved me. He like drove me all around the base, went and got me some food. I think I've been flying for like 2 days or something. You know how sometimes in Afghanistan you could like just get like stuck and kind of be like a homeless vagabond? Yeah. So Sergeant Lowe took me in, got me a hot meal, got me back to the flight line so I could catch my flight out. But yeah.
That's right.
All right. So 2 deployments, and you don't really have a traditional transition out of the military.
So I was going to ask her, how was that? How was transitioning from active duty into the reserve? So let me back up. Did you transition into the reserves and then go to school, or did you start school and then that's what prompted you to transition into the reserves? And then what was that transition like?
Okay, so I transitioned into the Army Reserve before I went to law school, but like kind of as I was applying to law schools, like it was applying to law schools and prepping for that takes about a year and a half, 18 to 24 months. Like it's kind of a long process. So that was always kind of the plan. And when I was leaving active duty, I went straight into the reserve component. Like I think my last day on active duty was like a November 30th. Your first day in the reserves was December 1st. And I like had my first drill or battle assembly with my reserve unit like on the 4th.
Wow.
It was very fast. As far as the transition goes, definitely a culture shock coming from active duty units and combat engineer battalions into like the reserve world. My first reserve unit was an RSG, which is like a logistics support brigade. And then when I moved to Alabama, I got linked in with the engineers. There's a whole lot of Army Reserve engineer units in the Deep South. So that's kind of when I got into the Army, Reserve engineer part of it. And that was probably an even bigger learning curve because it's construction. Like that's I think something like 90% of our construction assets in the U.S. Army are in the Army Reserve. So just to give you an idea of like, that's a major proponent of our stuff. So a lot of culture shock just from general Army, like active duty versus reserve Army. And then there's kind of a steep learning curve on figuring out how, oh, look, there's Ramon. Kind of just figuring out construction stuff because like construction on a larger scale is a whole different ball game than what I was doing at Camp Dade. So it was tough.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking before we came on. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers does so much infrastructure within the continental United States. It's crazy the capabilities they have, and then the planning and all the crosstalk with all the other government agencies in order to get the probate and red tape out of the way. Yeah, that's crazy shit that y'all do.
There's like a whole lot of Corps of Engineer like engineers, like real engineers that are also Army Engineer Reserve, like Reserve Army Engineer officers. So I will say like we have a huge wealth of knowledge in the reserve side of the house. And I never really even knew that. But that's been very interesting to me to kind of learn that part of it. Before I forget, I do want to say when I was transitioning from active duty and looking into going to law school, like planning, like I said, like nobody in my family's been a lawyer before. So I didn't know, it's almost like you don't know what you don't know. And someone recommended that I look into Service to School, which is a nonprofit organization that helps service members transition into whatever civilian career, but mostly I think they focus on higher education.
Yeah.
That was just invaluable. And actually one of your previous guests, General Petraeus, was on their board of directors for a while, as was General Mattis. I'm not sure if they both still are. I haven't followed that closely. Yeah.
My boy.
Yeah. So they had they had a conference in Washington, D.C. where it was free to go. Service members could go, their spouses could go if they wanted to. I went up there for a day and it was literally like a full day of like, okay, stupid, this is how you go to law school. This is what law school, they didn't say stupid, but they really broke it down and explained it to a group of people just like me, right? That were like, all right, I know what I want to do. I'm just not 100% sure how to get there. And I just kind of left that conference that day being like, all right, I've got a path forward. I know how to make my plan. I know what tests I need to take, all of that stuff. So that definitely made the transition from active duty Army officer into law student a lot easier.
I got a question, and somebody actually in our one of our viewers actually had a question too, and I was curious to know this too. Why not transition into the JAG Corps? What made you stay engineer and not go JAG Corps reserves as a lawyer?
No, ew, what? No. Oh my God, I love being an engineer. I really do. I know that's super nerdy. I love to do it, and I know it. And by the time first off, I got deployed while I was in law school. So I was a company commander of a vertical construction company, and I got notified that my company was deploying to the Horn of Africa. And also I was AdCon of like kind of another large detachment that supported other people in Africa on the other side. Yeah, so after that, like after being a deployed company commander and just drinking from a fire hose on the Horn of Africa, there was no way I was switching when I graduated from law school, because I was like, all right, yeah, like I kind of understand this game now. Like I don't want to switch to something else. Also, I'd had just about enough of UCMJ as a company commander, and I just cannot imagine having to deal with that.
We all hate the UCMJ. I've been down that road. I get it. I get it.
I know. Being an engineer is so much more fun, though. Like, I mean, as a battalion XO, I would just sometimes, like I had a sapper company and an engineer support company and a vertical construction, horizontal construction. So like I had so many opportunities to just go, shoot a 50 cal or blow stuff up and play with C4. Like, yeah, you're not doing that when you're a JAG officer. You're like reviewing flippals. So no, thank you. I'm good.
So Brett's giving you a shout out. He said, you better answer.
I don't know what he means. Okay.
Great answer. There you go.
He said, what's good?
That's my little brother. What's up, brother? I hear you. I'm glad you're watching. My little brother's watching. He's probably smoking weed watching the show, but it's okay. He'll figure it
out.
All right. So what was it like going through school and then actually starting your practice?
Yeah, it was hard. Law school is hard. I am happy that I went when I was older and didn't go right after college, because I was just more mature and was married at the time and had a toddler. So like having fun, partying, that was not a thing for me. So I just kind of treated it like a full-time job, and like that's my job, is to go to school and learn and do as well as I can on the test. It's still difficult. It's a ton of reading and a ton of learning and understanding. But you kind of get through it once you learn. Like your first year, you're like, all right, this is how I do it. The rest of it's just, absorbing a massive amount of information. And then the bar exam, good God, I think I'm still traumatized. Like, I don't even know. It's even hard to talk about, but it's not an exaggeration to say when I left the bar exam after 2 days of, sitting for 8 hours, taking the hardest test of your entire life, I drove like from Montgomery all the way to Birmingham with no sound, like no.
Damn.
I literally was just like.
I remember the GED test. I feel your pain. You know what I mean? I remember the GED exam. That shit was tough, bro. That shit was tough.
You probably have more math on the GED.
Yeah, what type of lawyer are you? I was going to ask you, Jackie, what type of law do you practice?
So a majority of my practice is family law, divorce, custody, child support, paternity, stuff like that. I do also do criminal defense, and I do some juvenile law. which in Alabama, I mostly represent parents like who have had their children taken away by DHR or CPS, but in Alabama we call it DHR. So I do a little bit of that. I'm kind of trying to segue my practice into doing like UCMJ, administrative separations, GOMARs, and stuff like that, just because family law, especially because I represent so many veterans and service members, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no other way to put it. It's stressful and exhausting, and it wears on you. But yeah, that's kind of my main practice areas.
Nice. Yeah, I wish CPS would come take some of my kids earlier. I'd have a lot less stress if they'd show up, knock on my door. I live in Florida, so I get it. Like, I wish they'd come knock on my door. I'd be like, you can have him. Shit.
They're probably like, you're feeding your children and you have a house and it has electricity in the state of Florida. Like, you're keeping your kids.
Stop feeding them. Put them outside. Got it.
Put them on the streets. Yeah.
Oh, my bad, Brett. I mean, I was doing some stuff in the background. What's up, Brett?
So you talked a little bit about you working and helping with veterans and wanting to break into more of the veteran space. What type of work are you doing in the veteran community? Just the law stuff? Or are you doing some other nonprofit type stuff in your field?
I'm really, say not. Like, I don't take VA disability cases or anything like that.
Okay, yeah.
I do 100% like love nonprofit work. That was kind of my job when I left active duty. Like, before we moved to Alabama, I worked at a legal nonprofit, and I absolutely love helping nonprofits get started and stuff like that. But I'm not currently serving on any boards or volunteering. I just volunteer with the state bar, like when they do like the veterans clinics and stuff like that. So, which is normally, for older veterans, or even sometimes we do like first responders, firefighters and stuff. We like do wills and stuff for them. I wouldn't say I'm really formally engaged in anything now, because running a law firm is very time consuming. It's very hard. But yeah. Did that answer that question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Ty's reading comments. Sorry, I was going to let him.
Sorry.
So you're currently still in the reserves. How long you got until you can actually punch that good old retirement ticket?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make it to retirement.
What? Come on, man. You got to stay. Come on. You got to stay.
No, I really don't. I can't do it. I just finished up my time as a battalion XO, and I think I've kind of maxed out on my Army reserving, and I would really love to be able to just 100% focus on my law firm.
Yeah.
And I am like not as an XO, as a battalion XO, I was part-time. Well, as you probably know, a battalion XO, executive officer, it's not really a part-time job.
No, not even a little bit. No.
Right. It's not really a part-time job. So that was pretty demanding and kind of just worn out, I guess you could say. And I know people are like, go take an easy job and just coast. That's really not for me. I learned that the hard way after law school when I went to a training unit. And it was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had in the Army. I've just never been, I don't want to say anything bad, but like I was a detachment commander. In the detachment, as a major, I was a detachment commander. It was like 12 people. It was all NCOs. I was the only officer. I'm like, okay, this is like smaller than when I was a platoon leader. Like, this is fine. Like, it was so easy. But we had a battalion commander. Now there's like 30 people in the whole battalion, but the battalion commander had never been in charge of an Army unit before. So like never been a platoon leader, never been a company commander, nothing. And so to her, this was like the hardest thing she's ever done. And I was like, oh my God, we don't even have a mission. Our mission is like send people to do PowerPoint. Like, what? This is the easiest thing in the world. I was bored out of my mind, and I know it put me in a bad mood. That's probably putting it lightly. it was not nice. Okay.
That was you lawyered that response up.
Yeah, there you go. So last question is, so we can selfishly plug your law firm. Where are you located? What's the name of your firm? And Ty's already put your website, but how can people get in touch with you if they're idiots and they break the law? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, I love idiots who break the law. I'm
your man,
when they tell me the truth about it, okay? Like, I don't love the ones that lie to me about breaking the law. Anyways, okay, so my law firm is the law offices of JACKLYN Morton. I'm located in Gadsden, Alabama, but I do travel over most of the state, especially for my family law cases, for my active duty service members. So I kind of go all over wherever we have our larger military bases in Alabama. And like I said, I also I've dabbled in UCMJ and representing actually both of my clients where I represented like company commanders that were under investigation were both engineer company commanders under investigation. I'm sure you can't imagine that. We're all perfect angels.
That's right.
But I did really enjoy that aspect of it. So and I never thought I would like that, but it kind of put me on the other side of it and like assisting people in what is honestly like a really, really difficult time. I could sympathize with that as someone who had been a company commander for a very long time in a very extremely stressful operating environment. So I found myself more interested in that than I ever thought I would be. So
awesome. So I'm going to stop asking questions because I see Ty's got the glasses on. So it's about to heat. We're about to heat to show up a little bit, ma'am. So just be prepared. The hot seat is coming.
All right. Okay. I'm scared.
All right, ma'am. So what we normally do here is, I'm going to ask about 10 questions. Just, say the first thing that comes to mind. This is kind of our way to get to know you a little bit better, see how your brain works with us with those rapid fire questions. Okay. All right. First question. What is the greatest leadership advice that you've ever received in the military?
That's really difficult, but I don't know that I've received this directly, but I do often think about the famous Colin Powell quote, which, when soldiers stop bringing you their problems, like you've lost their trust. I love solving problems, always have. And so that's just something that's just kind of a touchstone for me and keeping that in mind. But I also want to give a quick second, like a very, very close second, is I had an ROTC instructor who was a Green Beret, and the VMI people know I'm talking about Major Wakefield. He used to just say jackassery begets jackassery. And I cannot express to you like how much I've seen that, jackassery begets jackassery. And that's also been a touchstone for me, like try not to partake in the jackassery, try not to, contribute to it. So, yeah.
Hey, absolutely. Shout out to Wakefield. That's some good ass advice.
Yeah.
All right, ma'am. What is the most unique place on earth you've ever visited?
That's really difficult. Oh God. I don't want to say it's you. Okay. This is really tough. I mean, like super, super tough. I'm gonna have to say when I went to visit my friend Christina in Idaho, back in like January of 2024, I'm probably saying this wrong, but she lives like really close to the Nez Perce reservation. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. I never actually knew that something that beautiful existed in the continental United States of America. It was breathtaking. So yeah, I think that's probably it.
Well, that's a great answer. I appreciate that very much. All right, here's one for you, and we don't get to answer this. We've only had one other lawyer on the show. What is your biggest pet peeve with your clients when you initially start out with them?
Not being truthful, like not just telling the whole truth or withholding part of the truth. And it's a little bit annoying because more times than not, I can tell that they're holding back, their story's not adding up. That really, really gets on my nerves. I can't let it because I understand the natural urge, and many people are like, I'm too embarrassed to tell you the truth. But yeah, that's just something that gets on my nerves like a lot, but I just have to let it go and understand people are people, they're going to lie to you.
Yeah, I remember talking to you before. It's like, if you can't believe the story that they're telling you, then how the hell is a jury going to believe it?
Right.
All right, so here we go. What is with practicing family law, there's so many different things that can go on. What's the biggest learning curve that you had to overcome in family law?
Ooh, oh, that's a tough one. And I think this might be a really niche answer that, unless you have a lot of other attorneys watching, people might not understand. But it really, really, like, you have to know your judge and understand your judge to be able to give your client the best idea of how the case is going to go. So that sucks, all right? Because that sucks. It's really difficult to manage expectations, and that's been a really steep learning curve, especially for me, because I practice all over the state of Alabama, and I am before, like, in multiple counties and before multiple judges in counties. And there can be a huge difference in how you present yourself to the judge for the first time and how you're allowed to communicate with the judge's staff. Like, some judges don't allow it at all. And some judges are like, yeah, text my assistant and let her know when you want to set this hearing. So that's been a very steep learning curve that I never could have anticipated when I was in law school.
Absolutely. All right. So being a Army engineer officer, graduating from a very prestigious military college, what is the biggest thing you take with you from your military career, the biggest lesson learned into being a lawyer, and how does that make you a better lawyer?
Yeah, like I suffer from the condition of, like, if you're not trying to actually literally kill me, then you're not my enemy, and we can probably figure out whatever the beef is between us. And normally the issue is between attorneys, when we're on opposing sides. But I think that is something that I carry with me and take very seriously, and that is kind of how I carry myself. Like, I don't get intimidated easily. I'm not scared, hardly anything that happens in the courtrooms when I go in is going to result in life or death situations. So I'm not saying I don't treat them very seriously, and I do treat them very seriously, but I also don't have that heightened anxiety that you kind of get when you're actually scared that you might die. I don't suffer from that. Like, it's very easy for me to differentiate that.
Excellent. I appreciate that very much. All right, we'll lighten up the mood a little bit now. Okay. What is the first car you ever owned?
Oh, a Chrysler Sebring convertible. She was maroon, with a tan top, and the roof leaked. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a known defect. A lot of those Chryslers, the roof would leak on those. What would you say it was? LeBaron?
The Sebring. Chrysler Sebring, right? Convertible. Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, here we go. What was your first concert, and what was your favorite concert?
Oh, my first concert was Tim McGraw and Kenny Chesney. And I think it was in Virginia Beach, like at an auditorium. And this was in the 90s, I'm pretty sure. So these guys were like brand new. Okay. I think concert tickets were like $15. And I was very, very young. Best concert I've ever been to. Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to say Kiss. And I'm pretty sure I bought tickets for my ex-husband, like a long time ago, obviously when I was married, like years ago. And we saw Kiss, I think in Lincoln. It was Lincoln or Omaha. I'm pretty sure it was Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm not a huge rock fan. Like, that was his thing, not mine. But I was literally blown away by how good they were. I mean, I was into
this with makeup or without makeup?
It was with makeup, and I was so I was in shock. I was like, these old men are wearing like 6-inch heels, leather pants, and they are full face of makeup, and they're singing like real. It was all real vocals. It blew my mind how good they were.
Yeah. I always I tell people all the time that Gene Simmons may be one of the most overlooked bassists. I mean, he's a lot of people's favorite bassist just because he's the most, boisterous and prolific in things, but like he can play too, man. And I've never seen a live show of Kiss, but yeah, that's a good damn answer. All right, ma'am. As of today, January 8th, 2026, what drives you in life?
I think I want to make the world a better place, a more hospitable place for my daughter, and every other little girl, just like her, but very specifically my daughter. I've been 100% committed to that since I brought her home from the hospital and realized, oh shit, I've got a little girl, and I kind of realized how hard life had been for me at some points in my life, and I just am very much committed to making the world maybe a little bit easier for her. Not too easy. I'm not a soft mom like that, but I feel like I've been able to accomplish a lot of great things, and I hope to accomplish more, but I want her to not think twice about doubling, when she's my age. I want her to exceed everything that I've ever been able to achieve. So that's it.
Absolutely. And the second part to that question is always, what keeps you up at night?
Probably balancing my trust. That's very niche. Probably my business, which is insane to say, but my business keeps me up. Running a business is very difficult. That's a very real answer. I wish I had something super cool, but it weighs heavily on me. Not going bankrupt and not disappointing my family or myself or my clients. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being like, it would keep me up at night knowing that, I went through a divorce in 2005. So having to know all of the whatever indiscretions happen, whatever good things, bad things, and then know about all these families. I'm a bit of an empath. That shit would absolutely wreck me to know that all these families are, most of the time you're dealing with a divorce. So how does that kind of affect you? How do you brush that off?
I don't brush it off. I'm definitely, I acknowledge I've been divorced. I feel that pain. I hate that for them. I acknowledge what they're going through and just try to be the absolute best lawyer I can be. I can't fix everybody's lives. That's not my job, but what I can do and I can control is what happens in the courtroom, what happens when I file motions and all of that stuff. So.
Absolutely. And, we'll see what we think of you after this answer, but I can tell you that from the time I met you as a second lieutenant, you were a very strong woman. I'm super, I hate to say this, I'm a bit older than you, but I'm super proud of you for the service you did when you were with the engineers. And then I follow you on social media. So you're one of those personalities that really stuck with me because you meet a lot of different personalities. And
oh yeah.
Let's just be honest, you don't meet a lot of badass women that want to be engineers, that want to be out there doing, a bunch of shit where you're going to get dirt. I mean, I remember seeing you filthy most days especially when we were building all that stuff. So your resilience, which you've demonstrated with going through law school while getting a divorce and having a daughter and also getting deployed in the middle of law school, that's fucking phenomenal. But this answer will gauge whether or not this has been a successful. No, I'm just joking. The next question, and last question in the hot seat is: who's the greatest of all time, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Oh, Prince, hands down. Michael Jackson? Seriously? Have you heard Purple Rain?
Okay.
Raspberry Beret? What are you thinking? No, I'm definitely a hardcore Prince fan. Michael Jackson's okay. My daughter is totally disagreeing. She likes Michael Jackson. She likes his music, but I love Prince. I've always loved Prince. I was born in the 80s. What can I say? I don't know. That's me.
Well,
So I won.
as you can see, it's pretty contentious, but Prince is starting to open up another lead. There for a while, it got pretty close, but as you see, Prince is up to 47 to 39. Actually, this is the last question. What can we do to make our podcast better, ma'am?
Oh my God, nothing. You guys are awesome. I would say maybe don't start with the poop. The only feedback I have is I did feel a little bit intimidated in following the poop talk. I know you can't really handle that. That was a rant, so that was special. But maybe save that one for the end because it was hard to follow. It was intimidating. I was like, this is how they're opening. Can stories get funnier than that? I think not. No, I'm just kidding. That's it. It was really good. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, ma'am. You've graduated from the TTV hot seat. We appreciate you very much. Go ahead, Albert.
No, that's all I had. I don't have anything. I was just laughing. I was laughing because you know what? At the end of the day, the rants are going to continue. I've got a crazy life. I've got a crazy family. Unfortunately, that's just the mild side of the rants.
Awesome.
Yeah, we've had some pretty crazy ones in there, but yeah, appreciate it very much. Well, ma'am, I appreciate your story. I appreciate you coming on the show, and we didn't even shout out your daughter. If you don't mind, before we get you out of here, give your daughter a shout out because I saw her helping you.
You want to come on?
You were setting.
How old's your daughter, Jackie?
She's 11. She's 11 years old.
I've got one the same age, so she's my only girl. I've got 3 boys and 1 girl, and she's the only one I love.
Oh, that makes sense. She's my only kiddo, but I guess I'll keep her. Yeah. Yeah.
Ty's got a bunch of girls. I've got one girl and 3 boys.
Yeah, I got 4 daughters and 2 sons and a grandson. So
that's what I was gonna say. I was like, "What's your split? You got all those kids. You got a whole litter. You got a 4-2 split. All right, it's hard, but you guys get it. The litter everywhere."
We got some comments here from some of the Triple Threat Vet Platoon. It says when she retires, she should work as an inspector general. Good money as a lawyer and contractor. Appreciate you, CIA Bob. CIA Bob knows everybody and everything. I think his here you go.
He don't know everything. He thinks he knows everything. He's 60% knows some shit and 40% full of shit. So.
Full of shit. Yeah, absolutely.
Isn't that like all of us?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, ma'am. We appreciate you very much. And ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Morton.
Say bye.
All right. Bye. Have a good one, ma'am. Well, that was fun.
She's awesome.
Yeah. She I remember, I think she said at one point she was 22 years old when she was there. So at that point, like I said,
I think she's awesome. She's tough as nails. I love it. She's tough.
She was. That's the one thing.
Grew up in the country, was an engineer in the Army, still is, and a damn lawyer. You don't get no tougher than that, bro. I wouldn't.
And those guys that she was in charge of, they were no new people. They were not easy.
I wouldn't piss her off. I wouldn't piss her off.
Appreciate you watching, Rishi Yoga. I think she said you're one of Jackie's friends. Appreciate you watching very much. Bob, CIA Bob, appreciate you watching. BHA secretary, what does the asterisk by your name on the bar exam mean? We didn't ask her, but I'll get an answer for you that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really appreciate that. You ready to do these sports?
Let's go, bro.
Yeah, I got to go over a couple things with you because you weren't here last week. So we'll where are we at here? Here we go. All right. So the first week here was the picks for the games last week. And here are the results. So we didn't have all the results as of last week. So that last game was, I think, the Ohio State and Miami. So last week, out here goes 1-5. Matt goes 3-3. I went 2-4. So now you're still in the lead because you went 5-0 there on that first week. So
that's tough.
Yeah. This week, we already picked the Ole Miss Miami game since that was happening before we started. So we had started that before. I got Ole Miss, and then you and Matt both have Miami. Here's the game we got to pick here. Who you got in the Oregon and Indiana game?
Man, after watching Oregon play, that's a hard pick because Oregon's defense is legit and they are stout. But I just can't. I love that kid from Indiana. I love their story. I'm gonna have to go Indiana.
Yeah, okay.
That Mendoza kid, man, he's just a good. I mean, that Indiana, man, they're well coached. They played well on both sides of the ball. I think Oregon's really tough this year, but I'm gonna go Indiana.
Yeah, I got to choose Indiana as well, just for the story. I think they're calling it the Heis Mendoza, what his nickname is now. Mendoza.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool as hell. And then the Kurt Signetti is just, he's a walking swag bag.
Yeah, he's the man, bro. He's the man.
I heard they're trying to maybe get him hired in the NFL. We'll see if that happens.
Yeah, he's tough.
Okay. I'll have to get Matt's pick. I don't think he sent it to me. I thought he was going to pop on as he was driving, but that's about all we got for this week. Future guests. Next week we have one of Matt Johnson, and friend of the podcast, actually does great stuff with veterans, for veterans, and for the general public. Leighton Mitchell with Mitchell Roofing. This guy's got charisma for days, smile that'll just light up a room. And when you see his social media with all the guys he's got working for him and with him, you can tell they're just one big happy family, for lack of a better term. So we're looking forward to having him on next week. That was a fun show, man.
Yeah, she was awesome.
Yeah,
very, very impressive.
I usually have Matt here to glab on while I'm fucking with this stuff. Yeah, so we did the show by ourselves this week. What'd you think?
It's good.
It's
we miss Matt. It's always a better show, and when you got the triple threats and not the double threats, it's always a better show. But I get it. He's taking care of family. Shout out to Matt and his family. I hope Cole does well. I know he's starting back to school soon. So we love you, brother. We miss you. Can't wait to have you back on next week.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, go ahead and take us out, bro.
So, like I always say, love somebody this week. Make a phone call. Check on your battle buddies. Make sure you do that, right? Pick your phone up, send a text, make a call. But check on somebody this week. Just tell them you love them. You're thinking about them. We just had the holidays. They just passed, but it doesn't mean that the holidays are over, right? We need to make sure we take care of each other. And again, just reach out to one of your battle buddies, your shipmates, your Marines, your airmen this week, and just check on them, make sure they're doing okay. Tell somebody you love them, and be a decent human being. Right? Don't get wrapped up in the politics. Don't get wrapped up in all the bullshit that's going on in the media. Don't let it consume you and drag you into the bullshit. Be a decent human being and be a caring human being, and the world will be a better place. That's all I got.
If you or someone you know is in crisis, contact the Veterans Crisis Line at 1-800-273-8255. Then press 1.